Hey guys, what's going on? So we got a big patch note release for 11.1. Um, a lot of Enhancement Shaman changes. We got the tier set, the new tier set, and the new changes to our talent tree, as well as a bunch of changes that the devs are looking to do. Um, there are a few utility nerfs and a bit of nerfs to Totemic. Uh, but the developers have said they want to take some of the power out of our Maelstrom spenders and put it into our generators. As of right now, though, there hasn't been any nerfs to our Maelstrom spenders, so I think they're going to look at it after all the numbers are checked. But anyways, let's get into this. First, we're going to take a look at the tier set, which is totally new and completely different from last season. So right here, it's a bit RNG. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate a winning streak, increasing the damage of your Storm Strike, Crash Lightning, and Lava Lash by 5%, stacking up 5 times. Spending Maelstrom Weapon has a 15% chance to remove winning streak. And the fourth set is when you gain a stack of winning streak, reduce the cooldown of Doom Winds by 2 seconds. When winning streak is removed, reduce the cooldown of Doom Winds by 10 seconds. Now, this is quite large, depending on how they do things. So, Doom Winds is going to be a big part of next season, obviously, because the tier set says so. But the whole thing of taking our Maelstrom spenders and putting power into our Maelstrom generators, I'm a bit worried that they might do a bit too much and we won't be actually using Maelstrom spenders, but hopefully it isn't. The main reason is because you get up to 25% increased damage to Storm Strike and Lava Lash as well as Crash Lightning. And then if you spend Maelstrom Weapon, you do lose that bonus, but you pull 10 seconds off of Doomwind. So it's going to be a real question. I do like Doomwinds, but I am a bit curious to see how this is all going to work and all that. But it is interesting. I am excited. Doomwinds is probably one of my favorite things to use, so glad to see how things go. But on to the real patch notes. So here we got a Ghost Wolf visual update, kind of nice. I'm excited for that. The last one I think was in Warlords. So I can't wait to see what the heck they're going to do with this, or even maybe sooner. I'm not sure. But um, next one is a visual update to Lightning Bolt. Now, I thought Lightning Bolt was fine, but I guess they don't like it, so I'm not sure what else they can do to it because it's literally just a bolt of lightning. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're updating this and they're not updating not Crash, but Chain Lightning. It's kind of weird. And then the biggest loss throughout this patch is going to be the loss of Ancestral Guidance. It has been removed. Apparently, they were having issues with Restoration having it, and to subside this change, they want to bolster enhancement in Elemental's off healing with utilities such as Healing Stream Totem. You can see Elemental got it buffed here as well. Um, so I'm not a big fan of this change, but I mean it is what it is. Enhancement's already global starved anyways, so it's really hard to say, oh, you got time to healing stream and stuff like that. It seems really weird. Um, not really sure about this change, but Blizzard said they want to do it, so they want to do it. Now I assume they're probably gonna take away Nature's Vigil and stuff from other classes, but who knows? But anyways, on to one of the most exciting changes is a new change to Primordial Wave. So Primordial Wave is getting an overhaul, but this first part is the final node called Primordial Storm. Primordial Wave transforms into a single-use Primordial Storm for 15 seconds after it is cast. Devastate nearby enemies with a Primordial Storm, dealing Flame Strike, Frost Strike, Storm Strike damage, and unleashing a Lightning Bolt or a Chain Lightning at 150% effectiveness, 100% PvP combat, deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets, consumes all Maelstrom. So this is a new Maelstrom spender, which is super exciting. I know a lot of people don't really like Primordial Wave, but I think this change is going to bring it kind of back. Um, one, all three of these are going to benefit from any form of Feral Spirit, and the reason why they didn't is or they didn't do elemental damage is because they are changing the way Feral Spirits works as well. Um, but as for how it actually works, I am not sure. I'm not sure if we're targeting somebody or if it's going to be used on us, such as like Doom Winds, where it creates a tornado around us or something like that. Nothing has really been said. All I know is it does AoE damage, and you can make it do a lot of damage with Maelstrom, and it also casts a lightning bolt or chain lightning. As for anything else, it's unknown. The PTR, at least I don't have access to it yet. I'm not sure about anybody else. I don't think they've done any updates, but this is super exciting because Primordial Wave has been a complete disaster for a while. But anyways, on to the next one, Molten Thunder. So if you didn't know, the original design of Molten Thunder was Thunder has a chance to reset off of your Storm Surge procs. So that's your Storm Strike reset. So every time Storm Strike had reset, you had a chance to reset Molten Thunder or Sundering. Now, Sundering has a 40% chance to reset its own cooldown, increased by 12% for up to 5 targets. Each consecutive reset reduces these chances by half. So this is honestly the best change they could have ever done, and this is how a lot of things should be made in general. So this means we are going to have more consistent resets on both single target and AoE. We are guaranteed a reset if we have 5 targets being hit by Sundering. So that means we can get most likely 2 resets onto 5 targets. So it'll go from 100% to 50% and then down to 25% and then so on and so forth until you hit 0. And now this means whenever you reset, if it goes actually on cooldown, then that's when it goes back to its full percentage. So it can only reset off of itself. It can't reset anymore outside of that. So you have to be wary of that as well. But anyways, this is an awesome change. I'm super excited for it. On to the next big one is Elemental Spirits. So originally this was 20% to either Frost, Fire, or Lightning. Now it's been changed to your feral spirits are now imbued with frost, fire, or lightning, increasing your damage dealt with that element by 10%. But now only increases your physical damage dealt by 10% as well. So, in my opinion, this is a big buff considering the new tier set. So, Doomwinds is always going to get a bonus. On top of that, your new Primordial Storm is always going to have 40% increased every time you have Feral Spirits as well. So I'm assuming they made this change, 1 for the tier set, 2 for the new Primordial Storm change. Super exciting. I love the change. It makes it more consistent, brings out Storm Strike more, as well as Doom Winds and all that. So, and also it makes Totemic more viable than ever because Totemic is Flame Strike damage. So it will always get 10% at least. On to the next change is Voltic Blaze. This has been an on-off talent. I've loved it, but it just does not proc enough, and now they've actually changed it. So before it was a 18% chance, now it's a high chance. So Lightning Bolt, Tempest, and Chain Lightning have a high chance to make your next Flame Shock become Voltic Blaze. I kind of wish they would add in Elemental Blast here, just because some people use it, but I can understand why, because Elemental Blast technically isn't a nature form of attack, but it is what it is. That would be my only thing, is to add an Elemental Blast to make it a bit more viable, but I'll take what we can get, where we just get more Voltic Blazes, considering the way Primordial Storm is going to be, and the same way with the new Primordial Wave, which we'll get into later. And then we got a massive update here with Lashing Flame. So originally it was only Lava Lash. Every time you lava lash a target, it would increase the damage of your flame shock on the target by 100%. Now Sundering is going to apply this. Why is this such a good change? Because it was always a pain in the butt to rotate targets. So you're constantly tab target, lava lash, tab target, lava lash, tab target, lava lash. That was it. Now all you gotta do, Sunder, everybody's marked. Perfect. And I know you're probably saying like, but we didn't use flame shock. You're not wrong. We didn't use Flame Shock very much this past season. But in this new season, it seems like they want to push Flame Shock and Lava Lash together. So this is going to make it so much easier. On top of that, it makes the old Dragonflight Elementalist style, which I have played, and it does feel really good right now. It makes this so much easier for everything. Absolutely everything. And I really love this change. I didn't even think of it, but like, holy, this is going to be a game changer for that build. And then on to the next one is Primordial Wave has been changed. So Primordial Wave originally was you send out a bolt and then you get a buff, you lightning bolt, and it hits all targets affected by your flame shock. Now just deals high amount of damage to all targets with your flame shock and then turns into Primordial Storm. So that's it. On top of that, it gets 5 Maelstrom weapons. So it's a Maelstrom generator now, which is huge. So I'm really excited about this. I know a lot of people have hated Primordial Wave for a while, and this change is actually awesome. So can't wait. So now you're just going to be Flame Shock and then Lava Lash and then Primordial Wave, Primordial Storm, bam. Big damn. So I'm super excited for that. Primordial Wave is now disabled or and enabled on the action bar depending on the availability of flame shock targets. So this means it's going to act like Fire Nova. So if you have no flame shocks up, Primordial Wave cannot be activated. It's basically just preventing you from making a mistake, essentially. So honestly, that's a huge W. Storm Strike is now learned. So this talent, this was a talent. Now it's just learned baseline. I'm not sure why, but they decided to change it. And so this one's a bit weird. Storm Strike can now be used without an offhand. I'm not certain why they made this change, but they did. Uh, I don't know. Some people have taken it as a possibility of two-handed enhance coming back, which it's I'm not gonna rule it out or hate on it, but it's possible. Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful because of the way Frost and Fury work. It's just a pain in the butt for them to bring in a double weapon type class. So, but you know, I have no idea. And Maelstrom weapon passive is now the first node. So again, Maelstrom is becoming the first node on the talent tree. Again, I don't know why they made this change, but they did. So, uh, on to the next one. So Storm Strike damage is increased by 100%, Ice Strike 100%, Lava Lash 100%, Crash Lightning 200%, and Healing Stream by 100%. So Storm Strike, Ice Strike, and Crash Lightning I can understand. Lava Lash is a bit of a question. So if you have played in Dragonflight or even tried out the Totemic Elementalist build for recently, where Lava Lash is the heavy hitter, Lava Lash is doing a significant amount of damage. So doubling it makes me think we are going to be going into a Lava Lash build for next season. And that might tick some people off, which is fair, but maybe not. Maybe these other buffs are going to offset it. I don't know. But, you know, like they said, they want to take power away from Maelstrom spenders and put it into generators. And at the same time, since they have not made any changes to the Maelstrom spenders, which makes sense, I think they want to see where the power level of these four abilities come out to before they make adjustments to the Maelstrom spenders. Because if they overdo it, all we're going to be doing is using generators rather than spenders, which makes no sense at all. So your spenders should be more powerful than your generators, but they have to get it correct with how much RNG enhancement has. On to the next one, we got Molten Assault. So this is another massive W. Flame Shock up to 5 nearby enemies. So it was 4. So this was when you Lava Lash, it would only apply 4. So that meant you had to Primordial Wave and Flame Shock, then Lava Lash, and you would have all 6 targets. Now you Flame Shock, Lava Lash, Primordial Wave. So much better. So much better. So this is a huge win. Ice Strike now generates 1 Maelstrom weapon. So this is just to compensate for Swirling Maelstrom no longer causing Ice Strike to generate a Maelstrom weapon. So it's literally just making Swirling Maelstrom more of an AoE talent, benefiting Hailstorm and Fire Nova, and Ice Strike is now just baseline going to generate a Maelstrom weapon. On to the next one is Deeply Rooted Elements. So this is one that we've all been waiting for. Deeply Rooted Elements is now a small percent chance per Maelstrom weapon stack consumed, rather than being a flat chance per Maelstrom weapon stack consumer. So I believe the current percentage is 0.6%. So that means if you spend 10, you get a 6% chance to proc Ascendance. And if you spend 5, you have a 3%. So this is just a much better design. So before it was a 6% on Lightning Bolt, and then they had to nerf it down to 3% on Lightning Bolt just because of how much procking we were getting. And if you procced during Thorm's Invocation, you just get infinite procs, basically. So this just kind of prevents that from happening, where during Ascendance, since you are casting Lightning Bolts all the time at 5 stacks, it's going to be a much lower chance to get a repeat proc. So now you get more from spending 10, and you still can proc out of spending 5, but it's just much harder. So we have been carefully examining the user experience of playing Enhancement Shaman and our message to guide the players towards taking the correct actions at any given moment. After the adjustments done in 11.0.5, we're further iterating on our message to help players better prioritize their actions. The constant highlighting of Maelstrom spending abilities has become a hindrance in understanding how to play Enhancement Shaman, causing too much information overload that is often inaccurate. Our goal is to let the fundamental design of the specialization speak for itself, similar to our other specializations, and be more deliberate with procs that require immediate action, moving into Undermine. We will be rolling back most of the highlights on the main resource system and start relying on UI. Blah, blah, blah. So this is basically just changing what's going to glow with our Maelstrom weapon and what's not. So Maelstrom weapon no longer highlights spenders when they become instant at 5 cast or 5 stacks. Maelstrom weapon will display UI overlay at the top when it reaches 10 stacks. Overriding the 5 stack display was at the bottom. Maelstrom weapon will not highlight lightning bolt, chain lightning, or lightning or elemental blast. So I believe what they are going to change it to, it's kind of like the way hailstorm works right now, where when you have 5 or 10 stacks, it'll show it in the bottom right of the icon. So Maelstrom weapon highlights Tempest when it is at 10 stacks, which makes sense. Tempest is a massive button. Maelstrom weapon will highlight Primordial Storm, also going to be a big button. Maelstrom weapon and Stormweaver spender abilities will now indicate in their tooltip that they consume Maelstrom weapon or Stormweaver to increase cast speed as well as damage or healing if talented into. Static accumulation will highlight Maelstrom weapon spenders for a short duration when the refund effect triggers. Arc Discharge will highlight weapon spenders. So these are all things from Stormbringer. Legacy of the Frost Witch duration is increased to 8 seconds from 5, and it's also getting a rank 1 buff from 5% physical and frost to 15. So this is a massive update. Usually you would take rank 1 Legacy of the Frost Witch just for the Stormstrike reset, but now you're actually getting some serious benefit with a 15% physical and frost damage increase plus 8-second duration. So that means you have more time to spend Maelstrom to keep the buff active, and you're getting more damage value out of this. So Legacy of the Frost Witch has seen a massive increase. Ice Strike now highlights Frost Shock. Ice Strike buff is no longer on the personal resource bar. Lava Lash now consumes Whirling Earth if it activates Molten Assault. I don't really understand this. Maybe it's just preventing you from taking Lava Lash only and getting the Sunder proc. I'm not quite sure what this means. But Crash Lightning visual update, animation, and sound has been completely revamped. So this is exciting because Crash Lightning is definitely one of my favorite abilities in the game. Super flashy, super lightningy, and it's awesome. So I can't wait to see what they did with it. And honestly, I'm excited. If they ruin it, I'm going to be super sad. Fire Nova as well, visual update. I think it needed it. Ice Strike empowered Frost Shock visuals and sound updates. So that's exciting. I wonder what they're going to be doing with that. Ice Strike Impact sound updated. Kind of makes sense because it is very lackluster. Glyph of the Spirit Raptors now functions with flowing spirits. So that's kind of interesting that it didn't work before. Doomwinds is no longer on the personal resource bar. Hot Hands is now on the personal resource display, which makes sense because it's buff tracker that you really need. An issue causing Hot Hands to grant 50% increased damage to Lava Lash through whirling elements when not talented into Hot Hands has been resolved. So this was when you just had Lava Lash and no Hot Hands talents. During Totemic, if you Lava Lash, you actually gain 50% damage onto your Lava Lashes. This is just, This is just fixing it so it actually doesn't buff it at all, but you still get the Sunder proc type thing. So it's just making it 0% damage. That's essentially all that's happening. An issue causing Hot Hands to display 0% value on its Aura 2 tooltip has been resolved. Some talents have been moved location. Splintered Elements is now a 2-point talent and moved to Primal Maelstrom's location. Sorry, having a bit of issues reading here. So basically, Splintered Elements has moved up and Primordial Storm has taken its place. Splintered Elements is the one that gives you haste. I'm not sure how much haste is going to give you, but we'll hopefully see when we look at the talent tree. Some talent icons have been updated. Primal Maelstrom has been removed. So a lot of pluses in this and a couple of negatives, but we'll take what we can get at this point. Totemic, Searing Bolt. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling here. Sorry. Searing Bolt damage increased by 40%. Searing Volley damage increased by 40%. So this is buffing Lavlash some more, which is fine. Oversurge now increasing surging totem damage during Ascendance by 50% was 150. So this is a huge nerf to Ascendance window for Totemic. So all you Totemic Ascendance lovers, that's kind of disappearing. Sundering from Lavalash reactivity procs now trigger Earth Surge at 50% effectiveness. Whoa. That's actually whoa. Wow. So Earth Surge is this one where every time you sunder, you proc your totem at 100% effectiveness. So it was 200, and during Ascendance you would hit like those massive 5 million procs. So now during Lavalash, since you trigger Sundering so often, each one of those is gonna proc Earth Surge. So you're just going to be sending tremors all day. So that's kind of insane, actually. So we are really looking at a Lavalash meta for next season, which is kind of interesting because it's going to be revolving around Doomwinds. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but be kind of interesting. An issue causing reactivity sundering not to trigger Wind Fury weapon has been resolved. So that means every sunder from your Lavalash during Hot Hands is going to have a chance to Wind Fury. That's kind of crazy because it hits everybody. And mix that with the talent that causes Flame Tongue to also trigger off of Wind Fury and deal AoE damage. This is going to go insane. This is going to go, this sounds like it's going to go insane on AoE. So we'll have to see. Arc Discharge now stacks up to 2 times, which is a huge W. So this is after you Tempest, you get a proc of Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, so it echoes essentially, so it deals damage double time. Before if you proc Tempest twice in a row, you couldn't spend that and you wouldn't get anything out of it, which sucked. So now you actually get 2 times, so this is actually a big change. It actually allows you to spend these stacks when you want them. Conductive energy now causes Primordial Wave to apply Lightning Rod to its target. So this is going to kind of keep the same manner the way Primordial Wave works right now, where you Lightning Bolt, it applies Lightning Rod to everything. So instead, when Primordial Wave just does its damage, since it's been redesigned, it's also going to keep applying Lightning Rod to its targets, which is huge. And then we do have a PvP change for my PvP lovers. Very unfortunate change, and I know you're going to be angry about this. Ride the Lightning has been removed from PvP. Sad times. Very, very sad times. I know everybody's loved this talent. It is possible they're going to replace it with something. As for what that's going to be, nobody knows right now. But yeah, sad times. Sad times. So let's take a look at the talent tree. So like I said, I think we're going to be going into a Lavalash. But anyways, we have a connection node to Lashing Flames now. We have Ice Strike and Hailstorm, as well as Fire Nova on the left side of the tree. Elemental Blast and Tempest Strikes on the right side of the tree now. Swirling Maelstrom on the left side. And I think that's about it for changes or moving around. Oh, Flurry is over here as well. So, not crazy changes, but definitely something. So I think if things are gonna go the way I think they will, um, we're gonna want Doom wins, right? And then we're most likely gonna want to revolve around we're gonna want to revolve around Lavalash because it feels like it's gonna be a totemic meta, right? So that's my thought. We're gonna want Sundering, bam. We're gonna need our overflowing Maelstrom, and this is where I get kind of stumped. Um, I want Crash, and I want elemental weapons. But now I think I only have like 1 point to spend now, so we could go with Fire Nova. We got another point to spend, so we're gonna take Crashing Storm. So I think maybe something like this could end up being what we are looking at for both forms of PvP and potential PvE, and then you would just drop Fire Nova for Elemental Blast for single target. Again, nothing has been changed, or not just that, but you would take Crash and stuff and probably put it into Flurry and maybe Ice Strike, Hailstorm. I don't know. Oh, poop. This is gonna be a real fun one. Trying to navigate all this crap. Because you're gonna want that. Yeah, this is yeah, that's not gonna be ideal. Um yeah, I'm stumped. I haven't done too much playing around with this, but something like this could be the way it goes, but I got nothing. I got nothing. It's all over the place right now, and it's quite unfortunate because they made this change to Voltic Blaze, which I really want Voltic Blaze, but I can't because everything else is needed, stuff like that. I don't know how I feel about this tree right now because it's very we're forced into Doom wins with tier set, which is fine, but like Eh, I don't know. I don't know. We could end up doing like something else. I'm not sure. Right now, I think the tree is too all over the place with the way the tier set works right now. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm really at a loss here. There's too many good talents to really get away. Like we need these three here, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say what we could be looking at. Um, But yeah, so anyways, all the changes so far are pretty good. If you want to do Stormbringer, it's probably going to end up being like something like this here uh, for single target, huh? Elemental, and then boom. Something like this probably for, yeah, for Ascendants and stuff like that. So, but again, none of these changes are final, and there's still going to be a whole lot more changes to come. So don't fret too much. A lot of things are going to be changing, so don't worry. Uh, I can't say that enough. This is the first set of changes that are happening. More are going to come before the release, so don't worry about that. But my final thoughts and everything, I think this is good. Our spenders have definitely felt very lackluster lately, aside from in PvP. In PvE, they've almost been almost irrelevant. So it's kind of nice to see they are taking that step. I am a bit worried that they might overdo it, and we would just be storm striking or lavalash spamming, overspending Maelstrom, which would make no sense at all. But you know, it is what it is when it comes down to certain tuning. I believe Blizzard will get it right. I am crossing my fingers. As for everything else, I hate the fact that we lost ancestral guidance, but hopefully they'll figure something out for that. Ride Lightning being removed really sucks, but all the changes to the Lavalash stuff is awesome. I love that. And all the changes to Totemic make it so much better and not as reliant on the totem itself, which is great. Primordial Wave, super excited to try that out and see what the heck happens with this thing. It sounds absolutely insane, so quite excited for that. But anyways, guys, that is it. Again, I am happy with these changes, and I can't wait to see what else they're going to come with because I can imagine they are going to get it correct and everything will be better. That's not to say the current version of Enhanced sucks. It is actually really good, but the issue is it's too good, and they need to rebalance the way our damage output is to make it easier on them as well. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!